Hey guys, Ken from Behind the Wall Pinball here with video number 2. I was planning for this video to be on resources that can help you. I'm still brainstorming that, and I hit a different point anyway. I think I mentioned yesterday, this is Whitewood number 2, and it's just hit the end of its usefulness to me. So it is time to depopulate and prepare for Whitewood number 3. And I want to make sure I get this captured. There's a few important things that you can learn from this. I'm not going to record the entire process. You don't need to see me pulling hundreds and hundreds of screws. Like, that video would be hours, if not a day long. I might not even finish today. So there'll be parts that I speed up. There's going to be parts that I just omit completely, and you'll see the final process or the end state of it. So step number 1, anytime you are going to tilt your playfield to either inspect underneath or remove it completely, there are 2 things you need to do. The first one, and you will learn this and you'll learn it the hard way, remove the damn balls. It's not fun when you tilt the playfield and those things fly out of the trough and go destroying stuff. So I've only got 1 ball installed in this, but we're going to go ahead, pop it out, and pull it. The next thing you want to do, and this isn't a problem usually on finalized machines, but if you have anything loose that could fall out, go ahead and remove those 2. I do have 2 temporarily installed things. Last time this is getting used, because I have a 3D printed part for that, and then the hammers. I just literally have them loosely sitting in there. And this is the last time that this toy will be on the playfield, because I'm redesigning it for Whitewood number 3. I need it to be about 1 inch shorter, which means I also need to redesign the hammers. We'll deal with that later. So our next step, lock bar comes off. Okay, we can set that down. And now we're going to go ahead and tilt. I have a Stern tilt and pivot system. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm going to probably attempt to do some waxing on everything in between these playfields to see if it makes it a little better, but you're going to have some screeching noises for now. So we're going to go ahead and get it out. With this system, it's not like the Williams systems that just clicks and tilts. You actually have to physically lift it to get the pivots up there, and then you can tilt. So we have devices that are physically connected to the cabinet that obviously have to come out. So my topology for communications, I go from the neuron in the back box down to the cabinet I/O board, right? So I've got a cable right there. Then this cabinet I/O goes up to the 3208. So this has to come off because that's connected. Then we jump from the 3208 to the 1616, and then the 1616 goes back to complete the loop with the neurons, so that has to come off. Then we have our main power connector on the playfield interface, and that is the 3rd wire, or connector, that has to come off. So at this point, this playfield is ready to be pulled, but we have something else important to do first. And I will note, if you've never done this before, a fully populated playfield averages about 60 to 70 pounds. This is not a fun part of the process. So behind us, let's see if I can get my camera angle right. I've got my rotisserie, because I'm going to depopulate in the living room. I'm not really making a mess. I'm just unplugging and unscrewing things. I want to make this easier for getting it out into the shop. So this is my rotisserie. I will give you more information on it in, I guess, what's going to be probably the 4th video, which is going to be on tools that I use. But I'll let you know what my stand is and how I did everything with the Lazy Susans. But I want to get this set up to accept the playfield. And as soon as I do, I will move the camera one more time so that it captures both the machine and the rotisserie, and move the playfield. And like I said, it's not going to be fun. So I put it horizontal and I lock it in place with spring clamps, just because I don't want it tilting before the playfield is physically clamped to the rotisserie. Right. That is good enough. Let me find a better camera angle now. That gets everything. I think that's fairly decent. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pull this playfield, and we're going to move it over. So the diesel gets it back down into the squirt brackets. Lift it up. You'll notice I have my rotisserie notched specifically for my build. Then I'm going to clamp it down. I do not want this playfield falling off. I've had it happen once, and it landed directly on my bad knee. It really sucked. I could barely walk for a week. So. We are fully locked and secured, so now I'm free to rotate all I want. No problems. Whew. Okay. So I will kind of briefly explain what we're about to do. So obviously the purpose of the rotisserie is you can rotate, you can get to absolutely everything. So for the next parts, I'll just walk you through it, but I'm not going to record all of that. Is obviously everything is coming off, but the other important part that I want to capture is topology. So for me, the hell was that? Blue wires are 48 volt power supply, white wires 18 gauge are my coil drivers. And then we get to the orange and purple. Purple is my ground wires for switches, oranges are the signal wires for the switches. When I take this apart, and I don't know why I didn't do this before, but I'm going to now, is topology. So every single driver has to match with its power supply. So you see over here on 3208, you have 3 ground wires, and that's coming off of the primary header. The power, 48 volts, has to match these coil drivers, the white wires. And I'm just going to write down the chain of how I have them going, because a big difference on the next one, I don't know what that is. So a screw fell out of something. We'll figure it out in a little while. But since I didn't trust myself electrically to begin with, so it's another skill I had to learn, I put individual fuses in front of every coil. Those are getting eliminated for whitewood number 3 completely, mainly because I need to make room for inserts and lights. And this playfield's getting pretty busy. Yeah, so I want to write down, we go from this connector to here. Anything is daisy chain. So really my topology that I'm trying to capture is going to be a 48 volt supply, and the ground wire runs daisy chains. So anyway, that's what we got. So I'm going to do topology for the next probably few hours. I'm not going to record that. And then I'm going to take my wire harnesses apart and just start pulling things. So I will see you guys in a little bit. I'll probably, like I said, I might record some of the depopulation, but I think you guys understand where I'm going with this. And we will press on from there. And then, like I said, I'm going to sit down. I've got a list already being made for resources. And then I'm going to take you through my shop and all the different tools. All right, we'll see you in a minute.